Nigel, I don't know about you, but last night I left the stadium with a bit of a buzz watching that feast of football. How did you view it upon reflection?
The same, a bit more draining for us watching it, but enjoyable. It was probably one of the most enjoyable 0-0s for a neutral that you'll get. A lot of good football right from the first few minutes. Both teams setting out to play, chances created both ends. And if it had finished 2-2, 3-3 or something like that, you'd have really been talking about it being, a cracking game. But the fact that there wasn't a goal in it doesn't really affect the quality of the game that much, because it was still a wonderful match.
Any feedback from the players?
Yeah, I think they enjoyed it. They're all shattered, as they have been of late. We talk about how many games we've had, and Saturday will be our 14th in 45, 46 days, something like that. That's nearly a third of the league season, played in 6-7 weeks, a month and a half. So it's been a tough old run. So they're shattered. Looking forward to having a break next week, 5-6 days without a game after Saturday. That'll be an important time for us. But the effort again and the quality, on the back of that run was brilliant last night.
Yeah, we were struggling to pick a man of the match afterwards, weren't we? But I think Jason Law was certainly a contender for it. Yeah. As a young player, is he inspiring now, given his form, other young players at the club?
Well, I hope so. That's one of the good things, and as a recruitment tool for any academy, if they can display a pathway through to the first team, say to any prospective sort of young players, whatever, if you're good enough here, then you'll get in, whether it takes a few seasons or 18, 19 years old. If we think you're good enough, we'll give you a chance. But he's just settling in nicely now. Can't forget he's only 9-10 games in, something like that, of his career. He'd not played before then. But it's a settling in process where he's getting used to being a part of the first team. He's getting a little bit more confident on the ball. I think the players have always had confidence in him to give him the ball, which sometimes is the youngsters are a bit wary of it. But with a player like him, he has to have the ball if he's going to be on the pitch.
And on Saturday, you face another top side in the division in Tranmere Rovers. Can something be said about this? Because as we've touched upon before, Mansfield in recent times are raising their game against the sides higher up in the League Two table. Is that because perhaps there's less pressure on Mansfield and more so on the opposing side?
I don't know. I think when we play teams that are looking to play themselves, rather than just stop us playing, then you see a better game with two teams trying to play football. But I don't think Tranmere, they'll be concentrating on everything that they do well, which they've had an incredibly good run of late. But I just think it's the nature of the league, how open it is and how even it is. The bottom teams, we find it as tough against the bottom teams as we do against the top.
What do Tranmere do well?
They attack you different threats and different ways, and I think Keith Hill's teams have always been had that attacking threat. They throw men forward and they see that as the best form of defence, I think.
And of course, after that, you've finally got a bit of a break, haven't you? How welcome is that? And how will you use that full week, so to speak?
Well, it'll certainly involve a couple of days rest for the players, those that have been playing regularly. Because when you think of that run of games we've had, it's been a lot of the same players. You talk about Faz Rawson, who I believe's played every minute of every game in that spell. He'll be as pleased as anybody to get the break, but all the lads will use it. We'll use it a bit as an incentive, hopefully, on Saturday, and say, come on, one last effort before we get this 6 days before Orient and then the Easter games. And also, we know we're not too many points off ensuring safety, so still a lot of incentives for us on Saturday.
Player-wise, how's George Lapsley? Is he any closer to making the squad?
Yeah, he's just trained as we sit on Wednesday lunchtime. He's had a good training session this morning. So if he has no reaction, we would hope he'll be back in the squad for Saturday.
And finally, 9 to play. Do you know pretty much now, Nigel, at this stage, who you want to keep for next season?
Yeah, I think we've got a good idea now. We've identified our top 4 or 5 targets as well for bringing players in, so we start that process. The earlier you can start that, the better, so you know if you can rule them out or not, and then you move on to the next ones. But you have to have first choices, and we've identified those in certain positions now, and the work starts on that. And I think we're pretty comfortable with the contract situation. I think it's important to get a few tied up in terms of the younger ones, especially. Jason Law is brilliant news, him signing his new deal. and we've got options on a few which we can use if we need to.
Yeah, do you still have a couple of players who you're unsure about? They've still got a point to prove between now till the end of the campaign.
Yeah, there's always that. There's always scope for changing our minds one way or another. It could be that we're thinking about keeping them and they don't do very well in the last five weeks. So there's always that possibility.
And is there any indications given to players as to your thinking?
Yeah, certainly in some circumstances they're not daft. They'll probably work out, what we're thinking. But we sit down a few days before the end of the season or just after, and then see every player as we see them as a group and then individually as well, and have a good chat with them.
Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.